Hello, you're watching IDD Talks. My name is Anastasia Lavrina, and today we have a guest joining me now from Romania, Iulian Cifu, President of the Center for Conflict Prevention and Early Warning. Welcome to IDD Talks.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining our discussion. In this edition, we are going to talk in details about the upcoming forthcoming conference, Climate Conference COP29, which will take place in Baku, Azerbaijan, starting from November 11 to November 22. Well, and the first question, is there a greater focus on climate adaptation and resilience at COP29 compared to COP28? What do you see as the most significant progress made in climate action between two conferences, COP28, which took place in the United Arab Emirates last year, December, and COP29, which will take place in Baku?
Well, actually, there is a kind of engagement and continuous engagement in that direction, combating global heating and excess of CO2. We've seen extreme events, extreme weather manifestation all over the world. Lately, a few days ago in Valencia. But it's a type of excess of water and turbulences at the forecast that shows us the impact of the global heating to the whole world. On another point, we've also seen a type of steps back or nuances in the extreme progressist pro-environment policies at the EU level, because assuming at European level all the burden of getting rid of global heating and CO2, on one hand, it's not possible because EU is responsible only for 7% of the emissions. When China, first and foremost, US in the second point, but a number of other states are also responsible for the biggest part of the pollution and of the global heating. And that won't change. But on another hand, those extreme policies at some points taken at the EU level have harmed the competitivity and also the economic path of European Union. So we have both evolutions that are going together. In the case of the most advanced, let's say, political entity dealing with the global heating, there are a little bit of steps backs and revisions and nuances. On another hand, everybody is now aware on the wrongdoings that can happen at the global level coming from the global heating.
Well, usually the countries have around 2 years to get ready for such a big conference like COP climate conference. In the case with Azerbaijan, the country had only 11 months to be ready for COP29. And it's remarkable to consider the challenges and achievements involved in hosting such a large-scale international conference in such a short period of time. What do you think about the key infrastructure upgrades and improvements made in Baku to accommodate the thousands of delegates attending the COP29?
It has made an extreme effort, very important, the diplomatic one, to get this COP29 in Baku, which involved also an agreement with Armenia. And that is very important. The second part is some achievements that Azerbaijan itself has done in that direction to combat global heating and to build new sustainable places, cities, working places, you name it. Especially a number of them already in place in Nagorno-Karabakh and the regions around, which were under Armenian occupation till 2020. So that type of engagement, investments in that directions are creating the legitimacy for Azerbaijan to host and to have a saying also at this level of the global heating, and this is remarkable.
Iulian, given the ongoing tensions and the conflicts all around the globe, the disagreements which exist among even the members of the European Union, It's interesting to understand whether the countries will be able to achieve the consensus at COP29. In my understanding, it could be quite challenging. Don't you think so?
I think that in that direction, I'm rather reluctant. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what the countries will achieve in Baku, but without any linkage to the host countries, I'm very reluctant, at least on two grounds. We have, even today, elections in the United States. On another point, we do have, once again, reluctance and steps back from a number of countries. And it's not only about commitments, it's also about implementation, because that also harms the whole process. As you have seen, we have noticed a number of commitments undertaken, but never enforced at home. And this harms on daily basis practically the citizens of the big cities, which are completely exhausted by smoke, by pollution of any kind, and where global heating is playing an important role. Another very important point has to be made related to the last BRICS reunion in Kazan. In spite of the fact that we are talking about the countries that are producing oil and gas and the ones that are the biggest consumers, and when I'm talking biggest consumers are the biggest polluters at the same time, in that direction, there's no commitment at this level. On the contrary, actually, that organization proved to be day by day more and more a challenge to Paris agreements and to all the other countries which are very much interested in seeing a way down the road in the sense of less pollution, less CO2, less global heating, more stable world. Here, I think that efforts should be made, and Azerbaijan is in a good position to make an important signal, and it's a possibility also for COP29 to have such a reference maybe to the producers and consumer countries, especially related to the fact that hydrocarbons should diminish their footprint on global energy market.
Yulian, there have been claims of politicized media coverage and anti-Azerbaijan narratives in some Western outlets ahead of COP29. Do you think these portraits are hindering Azerbaijan's ability to be seen as a credible partner in global climate negotiations, or there is a specific reasons for this campaign? Let's say some Western media outlets prefer to politicize the process itself.
I think that it's marginal, and it refers to relations between some countries and your own country and Armenia. I think in that direction, the openness towards the EU, the strategic partnership that Azerbaijan has with the EU for providing energy, as well as the relationship with the specific countries at stakes could be somehow smoothened if there is a direct dialogue, and I suspect that this is the way out of such, pressures. But once again, I'm not very sure the media is free, opinion can float. I'm not very sure that the relevance of those medias, besides being, annoying, even at the political level, could harm or could influence at a large respect what is happening in the international arena. So I would rather counsel Azerbaijani diplomacy to address the countries at stakes and to try to communicate, to exchange views, and to try to make reason inside this debate, which would do the best in time, including for the support towards an agreement with Armenia.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.